Why did the pilot break up with his girlfriend? Because she had too much baggage. Welcome to our journey into the life of airline pilots. Picture waking up in various time zones, having meals in global cities, and enduring endless pre-flight checks. A pilot's day begins with a briefing followed by a thorough plane inspection. Yes, even the quality of the coffee is checked. Once airborne, their time is spent monitoring instruments and communicating with air traffic control, all while trying not to laugh at the co-pilot's terrible jokes. They also have to stomach the in-flight meals, whether it's rubbery chicken or soggy pasta. Yet, they relish the breathtaking views, meeting diverse individuals and having fascinating stories to tell. For pilots, flying is a dream come true. So strap in as we explore the day in the pilot's life. We'll discover their education, the historical events that molded the profession, and their societal impact. Perhaps by the end, you might even develop an appreciation for airline food. Cue the upbeat music, and let's dive into the symphony of the skies. Picture the cockpit as a concert stage. The pilot, our maestro, conducts an orchestra of switches, dials, and screens. Each instrument plays a crucial role, contributing to the harmonious melody of a successful flight. The pilot's score? The flight plan, a precise sequence of events from takeoff to touchdown. It includes detailed information like the route, altitude, speed, and estimated time of arrival. It's a dance between man and machine, where every movement is meticulously planned and executed. The pilot's hands glide over the controls, adjusting the throttle, setting the course, and communicating with ground control. It's a performance of precision and skill, with the pilot's years of training and experience shining through. It's not just a journey across the skies, but a symphony of science, technology, and human capability. So, next time you're in a plane, remember, ever thought that pilots just sit and enjoy the view? Think again. Becoming a pilot is no walk in the park. You need a serious love for textbooks, specifically math and physics. Imagine you're not just calculating how much you'll tip at a restaurant, but how much fuel your giant metal bird needs to cross continents. Not only that, but you also need to earn a number of licenses and certifications. First, there's the private pilot license, where you learn the basics of flying. Then, you take on the instrument rating, which allows you to fly in all types of weather conditions. Finally comes the biggie, the airline transport pilot license, which is like the PhD of aviation. Oh, and did we mention all the medical and psychological evaluations you need to pass? And you thought passing your driving test was hard. Ever wondered what the co-pilot does? They're not just there for the free peanuts. Now let's dive into the co-pilot chronicles, where the roles and responsibilities are as diverse as the skies they traverse. You might think of the co-pilot as the Robin to the pilot's Batman, but trust me, they're more than just a sidekick. Picture this, a co-pilot is the jack of all trades of the aviation world. They're the pilot's right-hand man or woman, handling flight calculations, managing communication channels, and yes, even making the occasional coffee run. But no, they don't double as flight attendants. And speaking of communication, let's not forget the hilarious misunderstandings that can ensue. Imagine the co-pilot, eyes glued to the radar, suddenly yelling, "Duck!" The pilot startled, ducks, only to realize the co-pilot was pointing out a duck-shaped cloud. Or the time when the co-pilot, trying to alert the pilot about a tailwind, ends up causing a momentary panic because the pilot hears tailspin. But let's not undermine the importance of the co-pilot. They're the second set of eyes and ears in the cockpit, the backup singer who can effortlessly take the lead if the need arises. They might not always get the spotlight, but they're the silent heroes keeping the harmony in the high skies. Co-pilots also get to learn from the best. They observe, absorb, and gradually they're ready to take the captain's seat. It's like the most intense, high-stakes mentorship program you could ever imagine. And for those of you who think the co-pilot is just the pilot's personal DJ, well, you're not entirely wrong. They do control the cockpit playlist after all, but remember, they're also the ones who might save the day when turbulence hits, or when the pilot can't decide whether to go for the regular or the decaf. So the co-pilot's job is way more than just being the pilot's personal DJ. Pilots haven't always had it easy. Back in the day, they didn't even have GPS. Imagine trying to fly from New York to Paris with nothing but a compass and a prayer. And let's not forget the fashion faux pas of those early aviators. Leather caps, goggles, and scarves were once the height of high-flying fashion. But it wasn't all glamour and glory. Those early birds faced some serious challenges, like navigating through clouds without instruments, or dealing with engine failures mid-flight. Not to mention, the in-flight meal service was non-existent. Over the decades, the profession has evolved dramatically. We've gone from propellers to jet engines, from maps to GPS, and from leather caps to, well, still leather caps, but with a touch more style. So next time you're navigating with your smartphone, spare a thought for those early pilots. Trust me, they'd be green with envy at the thought of Siri guiding them through the skies. Being a pilot isn't just about jet setting around the world, it's also about making a difference. Now, let's be clear, pilots do much more than just steer the plane. They're the unsung heroes of the global travel industry, keeping us connected across continents, time zones, and oceans. They ensure that we can visit our families, attend business meetings, or embark on exotic vacations, all while cruising at 35,000 feet. And let's not forget their role during emergencies. Remember the movie Sully? Well, real-life pilots are trained to handle situations just as intense, like that time when a flock of geese decided to play chicken with the plane's engine, or when turbulence hit, and the coffee service turned into an impromptu game of dodge the hot beverage. But it's not all about dealing with crises. Pilots also contribute to our daily lives in ways we might not even realize. Ever wondered who's responsible for delivering your latest online shopping splurge? Yep, that's right. Pilots help ensure that your packages arrive safely and on time. And while we're on the subject of deliveries, let's not forget those special, heartwarming moments when pilots get to play stork, transporting precious cargo like donor organs, or even newborn babies being flown home for the first time. Now, you might be thinking, that's all well and good, but aren't pilots just glorified taxi drivers? Well, let me tell you, there's a bit more to it than that. You see, taxi drivers don't typically have to navigate through thunderstorms, avoid other vehicles at 500 miles per hour, or land a 40-ton machine on a narrow strip of tarmac. And last time I checked, they didn't have to calculate fuel consumption, monitor engine performance, or communicate with air traffic control either. So the next time you fly, remember, your pilot is more than just a glorified taxi driver. Being a pilot isn't all about sipping champagne in first class. There's turbulence too. Now, don't get me wrong, there are fantastic perks. For starters, you have a window office with a view that's unbeatable. One minute you're cruising over the Grand Canyon, the next you're skirting past the Eiffel Tower. And let's not forget the travel benefits. You get to jet off to exotic locations on your days off. Free flights are a nice perk, right? But remember, you've got to cram all your sightseeing into a 24-hour layover. So, good luck seeing all of Rome in a day. Then there's the flip side. You're away from family for days on end, and you miss out on important events. Little Timmy's first step? You were probably in a layover at JFK. And jet lag? Forget about it. You'll be having breakfast at midnight and dinner at dawn. But hey, at least you get to skip the line at the breakfast buffet. And let's talk about airline food for a second. As a pilot, you don't get to escape it. In fact, you eat it more than most. Imagine chicken or pasta, pasta or chicken, day in, day out. Definitely a culinary roller coaster ride. Then there's the responsibility. You're steering a 100-ton metal bird in the sky with hundreds of lives in your hands. No pressure, right? But hey, at least the uniform is snazzy. But all in all, the job is a unique blend of thrill, responsibility, and, yes, a bit of monotony. It's not for everyone, but for those with a love of the skies, it's a dream come true. The perks outweigh the pains, and the view from the office is simply unbeatable. So if you can stomach more than just airplane food, this might be the job for you. So, what's our final verdict on a day in the life of an airline pilot? Well, let's circle back to the runway and review our journey. We've learned that a pilot's day isn't just about soaring through the clouds, but also about navigating through a sea of coffee cups, flight manuals, and the occasional co-pilot's karaoke session. We've seen how the profession of an airline pilot is a blend of high-tech expertise and old-school skills, where one minute you're programming a sophisticated flight computer, and the next, you're trying to figure out how to get a stubborn luggage cart unstuck from the tarmac. We've also discovered that, contrary to popular belief, the most surprising thing about an airline pilot isn't their ability to land a plane in a crosswind while eating a sandwich. No, it's their uncanny ability to sleep anywhere, anytime, even during a layover in a bustling airport. We've delved into the educational requirements, licenses, and certifications needed to become a pilot, which, by the way, are quite extensive. And we've learned that career advancement is usually a smooth ascent, unless, of course, you accidentally spill coffee on your chief pilot's new uniform. We've explored the historical and cultural context of the profession and discovered that being a pilot is not just about flying planes, but also about being part of a proud tradition of explorers and adventurers. we've highlighted the important role pilots play in our society, not just as transporters of people and goods, but also as first responders in times of crisis. And yes, they do make a difference in people's lives, especially when they manage to land the plane on time and without any turbulence. We've talked about the earning potential and factors that influence compensation in the profession. And let's not forget the age-old debate: airline pilot versus commercial pilot. It turns out, the difference is more than just the uniform. And finally, we've shared some hilarious hazards of the job, like the time a seagull decided to hitch a ride on the windshield, or when the autopilot developed a mind of its own. So do you agree with our take on a day in the life of an airline pilot? Are there any humorous anecdotes or surprising facts we missed? Please comment below and let us know. And if you found this content useful, or even just entertaining, please support us by giving us a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps us bring more high-flying content your way. Remember, the sky's not the limit when you're a pilot. It's just the beginning.